So hi everyone, today I'm at the barrel room at the Grover Vineyards, and this is a small session that we'll have for people who want to know a bit more about wine, or for prospective chefs who would like to serve wine at their restaurants, want to know how to serve wine, and who better to give us this advice than Miss Karishma Grover. She is the co-owner and also the winemaker here at Grover Wines. So, hi Karishma.
Hi, welcome.
So what is your motivation? How do you go into winemaking?
I kind of like grew up around it, stumbled into it. I did an internship of 5 days with Michelle Roland, who's a consultant, and then I did my undergraduate. And every single day is just another day that I can't look back
So
because I loved it even more.
Do you always want to do this?
No, at about 16 is when I really made the decision, and the bond was really formed. And now it's the only thing I want to do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I think then we get into it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first question. So even I think wine was probably the last alcoholic drink that I tried.
Right.
And I think a lot of people think wine is a very pretentious drink.
Yeah,
What do you
which is
have to say to
unfortunate.
that? Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite drinks. So I always feel bad when people are scared to try it because I love it. And if you love something, you want the whole world to share in your love.
Right.
I think it's a disservice to wine that it's become so pretentious. I think it's a very enjoyable drink. I think it's a drink that you can have a conversation about. But I don't think it's a drink that you have to have a conversation about. Which means every bottle of wine I drink is not a bottle of wine I've spoken to a friend about. Yeah, some bottles have been drunk and forgotten about. It's a drink that can have a conversation about wine and need not have a conversation about wine.
So I think the conversation makes the wine maybe taste better, or the
Sometimes,
experience better.
sometimes you don't want to talk. Sometimes you just want a glass of wine, and that's fine.
Okay.
I think
Fair enough.
it's a drink that has many facets. One of which is casual as well, and one of which is really like sophisticated and elegant.
Right.
But I think that we tend to focus on the sophisticated and elegant, and tend to forget that at the end of the day, it's an enjoyable drink.
Right. I think most people just want a quick fix, have a drink, get it over with, and that's it. So
Yeah.
that's why probably wine doesn't score in those people's diet.
List.
probably.
Yeah.
But then again,
But it's also very intimidating. What wine do I drink? How do I serve it?
Right.
What if I don't have a corkscrew opener? What if my glasses are weird? What if I serve it at the right temperature? What if I serve it at the wrong temperature? What if it's not expensive enough?
wine education is very important.
It's very important, but it's also important to know that we didn't know everything.
Right.
Everybody has learned. You've learned a lot of things in your life. You didn't start knowing how to use the salad spoon and the salad fork and the soup spoon, and you didn't know that. But yet we feel comfortable going for a sit-down dinner. I think wine is similar.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. How do you like to classify wines? Would you go with the standard red or white, or do you prefer drinking some other way?
Well, I mean, yum and yum. No. Red, white, and sparkling actually gives you information about the wine. So it's not just a straight classification. Red is red wine, white is white wine. Sparkling wine has bubbles. Fortified wine has got alcohol added. So I think there are some classifications which are useful. And I mean, it's not like I mean, what exists in the world is pretty good for me. I don't have a specific. I don't think that there's a right way or a wrong way. I think as long as you know what's being said, it's good enough.
So if I ask you what are the types of wine you drink, what do you say to that?
All.
Nice, you got it. Okay. Okay, next question. I think a lot of foodies here would like to know, does wine have any health benefits? Any
Definitely.
proven health benefits?
Well, definitely. I think there's definitely proven links to cholesterol and heart disease. There's antioxidants, there's resveratrol. It definitely does. And I think in general, a glass of wine a day has been scientifically shown to reduce stress as well. So if you're a stressed out individual, have a glass of wine.
What about tannin?
The tannin is this antioxidants and this reverse.
Tannin is
That's all
antioxidants.
tannins. Yes, yes.
So it does have the benefits.
It does have those benefits. yes, but not a bottle a day, please. Anything in excess does not have health
Okay.
benefits.
And is it the same with red and white or?
Red usually tends to have a little bit more, but white is the undersung hero. Like most people talk about red wine and health benefits. White wine does have similar health benefits to a lesser degree. So if you don't like red and you're not enjoying red, it's not medicine. You don't have to have it. Have a glass of white.
That's good advice. Okay. Again, I think going to the food perspective,
Yeah.
I think it's very important to pair wines with the right food.
Yeah.
So, what do you have general tips for pairing? Then I have some specific
Questions.
questions.
Okay. Generally, the most important is to enjoy yourself. Okay, because it's not about getting it right. It's not about being proper. If I'm sitting down to dinner and I want to have a glass of wine and I want to have food, at the end of the day, I want to have had a good time. That's the most important thing. That's the takeaway. So I think what's really useful is to try to pair things that work for you. It's not about what works. What works for me might not work for you, and what works for you probably won't work for me. Especially because I have very definite ideas in some ways. I think that it's important to listen to. If you don't like it, it's okay. If you think that you want to try something different, it's okay. It's okay if you were wrong. It's great if you were right. But I think that trial and error is the only way to go about it. That's my general tip. The main thing that you're looking out for is that the wine and the food should merge together well. So you don't want the food to overpower the wine, and you don't want the wine to overpower the food. You don't want to be tasting any one. You want a new flavor in your mouth.
So
That's
should
what you're looking
both
for.
of them have similar taste, or should they have completely different?
That depends on you and what goes together for you.
So I think it's the merging ultimately that matters.
At the end of the day, you should, at the end of the day, if you're eating food and you just taste wine, then it's a bad pairing. And if you're eating food and you can't taste the wine, that's a bad pairing. But if you're eating the food and drinking the wine and suddenly your whole world has been unlocked in your mouth, that's where you want to be.
That's true. Okay, let's get some specifics. Okay, what about, so you can just tell me the type of wine or any specific wine have in mind.
From the global portfolio, obviously.
Of course, of course. Okay, which wine goes best with very rich Indian gravy dishes?
For me, depending on where you are actually, because I find the Indian weather a bit warm and the gravy a bit heavy. So sometimes red wine is too much for me, so I prefer a rosé. But if it's the evening and the weather is like it's been this December, January, which has been amazing, then red wine is perfectly fine.
Okay.
But you can definitely do a rosé. Our rosé is not a sweet rosé, it's got a bit of structure, so for me it works well to sort of make it a little light, the whole thing.
And let's say if it's like a chicken gravy or a protein-rich gravy, in that case we still go with the rosé or?
Yeah, you could still go with the rosé, absolutely yes. It's quite a strong, I mean the spices are quite spicy, so you almost don't have to adhere to the white wine rule in India, because your prawn jhinga is spicy like a chicken tikka is. You know, it's very similar, so no. If it's not over spicy, I would even go for a stronger white. Like our Vijayamritraj white pairs really well with a bigger curry.
Okay. So a strong wine would go better.
Yes.
White wine.
Strong in terms of flavor and concentration of flavor, not in terms of alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, next one. What about steaks?
Steaks.
Let's say chicken or beef or pork.
I would say that then you're looking at more a red wine. You're looking at
Any red wine.
well, if you're looking at a chicken or a pork, because it's usually slightly lighter, you can do like a lighter red wine like a Cabernet Shiraz. But if you're looking at a proper steak, like a beef steak, then definitely the La Reserve or the Vijayamritraj would be, just from a mouthfeel point of view.
Okay. Red wine rich on flavors.
Yeah, everything should be enjoyed.
Okay. Okay. What about maybe soups, broths, or curries with a lighter gravy?
So soups for me is when I'm sick.
Okay, what about broth? Same thing?
No, you can do a nice, if you're doing like sort of a Vietnamese broth, you can, like our Vijayamritraj white would go, but again the rosé would go as well because it's sort of on the lighter side. If you're doing a sort of a beef stock broth like a ramen broth, you can definitely go for a lighter red. So I think, I think it depends. I think there's no one answer, there's no straightforward answer. If you're going for something more rich in flavor, you want a wine with more depth. If you're going for something really light, you want a wine which is easier to drink.
And what if you're sick? Like you said. Then why will you drink that?
Then red wine.
Okay.
So the wine must never stop.
Nice. Okay, here's a different one. What about desserts? Let's say a gulab jamun. Any wine you think would go with it?
Definitely dessert wine. So there's a style of wine called dessert wine. It's not sweet wine. But it's extremely sweet. And Indian desserts, I mean, like a gulab jamun is extremely sweet.
Right.
So definitely a dessert wine would be a good option. Another option is the Portuguese port. It's got a nice amount of alcohol. It's got a bit of heat to it. So it's bitterish in a completely different direction. So for me the contrast is good.
Okay. So any wine from the Grover collection?
We don't make a dessert
I
wine.
don't get it.
So I would
But at least.
yeah. I hope so.
Okay. That's it with the pairing.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an important one. What advice do you give to budding chefs on serving wine? I think that's again a very important.
Definitely the most important thing about serving wine is temperature. Now most people in India and most people I've interacted with when it comes to drinking tend to drink beer. The easiest way to explain this to you is if you served beer at room temperature, the person would just not enjoy it. It's the same thing to wine, and usually for white wines we would prefer if you're 12, 13, 14 degrees. If you're closer to 12, 11, it's fine. In India it's going to warm up. If it's red wine, now they say red wine is room temperature, because it's not a myth, it's room temperature, but it's room temperature in France. Maybe one day in the year in Bangalore we have that room temperature at 19 degrees, so it's actually better to chill it a little bit. So I would say put it in the fridge in India, remove it maybe 20 minutes before, half an hour before, depending on how hot or cold the day is, but definitely serve it chilled.
Okay. So then red wine should be cool and white should be cold.
Yeah, and rosé and the white rosé sparkling should be cold, and red wine should most definitely be cold. As far as glassware goes, honestly, if you're drinking wine, that's great. I'm not going to get more fussy on you. But if you have a nice glass, there's nothing. I mean, it's nice to have wine from a nice wine glass. It's not necessary, so please don't go and bankrupt yourself buying good glasses. It's not essential to the experience.
Okay. But then, let's say we have your La Reserve wine.
Yes.
What kind of glass would you drink that in?
So because I love wine and because it is my life, I have the appropriate glasses.
Okay.
But if if wine is not your life like it is mine, and let's say you have a budget and your budget is 1,000 rupees, buy the bottle of wine and use whatever glass you have at home.
That's nice.
It's at the end of the day, as you get into it, as you get interested in drinking it, you will buy the correct glassware. And what the correct glassware is depends on your budget entirely. It's not like just because I have like a 48,000 rupee glass, my wine drinking experience is better than you with your 10,000 rupee glass. That's absolutely not true. So I think it depends on you, what you want to spend, how much you use it, whether you think it's a worthwhile investment, all these things.
And what about aeration? I think it's important.
Aeration, when it comes to using a decanter, it's very important when the wine has been aged for a while. Most of our wines in our portfolio up to the La Reserve, well, definitely the art collection range that we have is young, easy to drink within a year. So don't decant it, because if you decant it, you're removing all the fruity flavors. Whereas the La Reserve, the Vijay Amrit Raj Red, the recently launched Insignia, all of these could use about 30 minutes to 1 hour of decanting. So yeah, there's no straightforward answer to that. You need to read about the wine that you're going to decant or not decant before you do the action.
So it's not necessary any aged wine should be aerated.
It's not necessary, yeah. Usually that's a rule of thumb, but it's not strictly necessary. Because sometimes the aged wine might not have been wine that should have been aged.
Okay. Okay.